Hello everybody. Today we are going to start a brand new series of stories, especially for you boys and girls. The series is going to be called From Beginning to Everlasting, and we are going to be thinking of the big story of the Bible. The Bible is God's story, and it's a story that takes us from beginning to everlasting. The Bible begins with these special words. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Do you like creating things? I love creating things. I love baking buns, I love drawing pictures, and I love building Lego. From this handful of Lego, I can make a Lego duck. And from this handful of Lego, I can make a Lego sheep. And from this handful of Lego, I can make absolutely nothing, because I don't have any Lego. And if I don't have any Lego, I can't make a Lego model. If I don't have any ingredients, I can't bake a lovely cake. If I don't have any colouring pencils, I can't create a lovely picture. I need all of those things if I am going to make something. But did God need anything to make the heavens and the earth? No. God used His words. He spoke, and it was done. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God created the sky, the land, the sun, the moon, the stars, the flowers, the trees, the fish, the birds. He created all the animals, the tall ones, the small ones, even all the creepy crawly ones. God created them all. Then God created people. He created people in His own image. What does that mean? When you look in a mirror, you can see your image or your reflection. The mirror reflects what you are like. Being made in God's image doesn't mean that we look like God, but we show a little bit of what God is like. For example, when we create or imagine, but especially when we love other people, we show what God is like. We are like little mirrors reflecting God's glory, reflecting what God is like. When God looked at all He had made, He said, "It's very good." In fact, God's world was perfect. When God's world was finished, He rested from His work. The first man and woman were called Adam and Eve, and God gave them a beautiful garden to live in. They never felt sad, they never felt scared, they never felt worried. Everything was perfect, and God was there with them. They had a perfect friendship with God. God told them that they could eat from any tree in the garden except for one, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God said, "If you eat from that tree, you will surely die." It was okay that they couldn't eat from that tree, because God had given them everything that they needed. God's enemy disguised himself as a snake. He came to Eve in the garden and he said, "It's not true that if you eat from that tree, you will surely die. You will become like God, and that's why God doesn't want you to eat from the tree. Go on, try some of the fruit, eat from the tree." Do you think Eve listened to the snake and disobeyed God? Yes, she did. Eve ate from the tree and Adam ate from the tree. Do you think they found that they were more like God after they ate from the tree? No, they found that they were far, far away from God. They had disobeyed God. Their perfect friendship with God was broken, and they had to leave the garden forever. God's perfect world wasn't perfect anymore. Instead of happiness and peace, there was sadness and fear and worry and pain and death. The Bible tells us that everyone born since Adam and Eve has been born with the problem of sin. The wrong things that we think, say and do that break God's laws. We're all born wanting to go our own way instead of God's way. We see that when we tell a lie, or we think wrong thoughts, or we're unkind to someone, or we take something that doesn't belong to us. We disobey God. The Bible tells us that our sin keeps us away from God because He is holy. He is perfect. Our sin stops us from being friends with God and keeps us out of heaven, God's perfect home. Whenever Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden, God made a promise. He said that one day He would send someone absolutely perfect to get rid of sin and death forever, to rescue His children from sin. Now, Adam and Eve didn't know who that would be. They didn't know when that would be. But we know who that is. Who did God send to rescue us from sin? God sent Jesus, His perfect Son, to die on a cross to rescue you and I from sin. Have you trusted Jesus to rescue you from sin today? I'm going to make a poster as we explore God's amazing plan to rescue His people from sin, and I'd love it if you would make one too. So for today's story, draw a little world to remind us that God created the heavens and the earth, and then draw a snake in the shape of a letter S to remind us of the problem of sin. In the next part of the story, there are things that happen that will make you go, but we'll have to wait until next week to find out what those are. I'll see you then.